Hello, in this video we're going to look at using mouse events to listen for mouse movement. So we're going to write a program that displays text, and this text is going to appear to follow the mouse cursor as the user moves the mouse around. So with that, let's get started. In Eclipse, we'll create a new project, and this will be a JavaFX project called mouse event demo. To this, we'll add a new class in the default package, also called mouse event demo. Now we need to make our class extend from application, and remember you can press Control Space, at least in Eclipse, to get this to automatically add the imports for you. Next up, we're going to implement our start method. So public void start takes a stage as its parameter. And now we'll start building our graphical application. So what we're going to do is create a pane object, just like this. And we'll create the object using the default constructor. Next up, we're going to create a text node, which is going to which is just going to be our string. And then later on, we're going to make this string follow the mouse cursor. But for now, we'll have a text object called text, and the constructor we're going to use takes in a position and a string. So initially we're going to position this at 2020, and the text is going to be programming is fun. Now we will add the text to our pane. So we'll get the list of children that belong to the pane. So pane.getChildren, and then we'll add our text node. Next up, we will create our scene. We will add our pane to the scene and set the size of the window to 300 by 300. Next up, we will set the title of our primary stage to mouse event demo. We'll set the scene to be the one we just created, and we'll show our primary stage. Next up, we'll jump down and create our main method. And we'll call launch inside here, passing in the command line arguments. So now, actually, I'll just maximize this to give us a bit more space. We can run our program, and you can see to start off, so this is a good start. We have our window that says programming is fun, but you can see no mouse movement. Sorry, no mouse interaction yet, but that's okay. That's what we're about to do now. So what we're going to do is in the middle here is create a mouse listener that listens for when the mouse cursor is dragged. So the way we're going to do this is with our text node, we're going to set a listener for when this node is dragged. So set on mouse dragged. And what we're going to do in here is use a lambda to simplify the creation of our listener. So the syntax for this is E, and then an arrow like that. And then simply the block of text. Okay, after a lot of searching around, through the magic of computers, I paused this recording and went and found out what the problem was. The problem is at the time of this recording, which is in December of 2013, lambdas have not yet officially been released. Lambdas are introduced to the Java programming language in Java version 8. However, Java version 8 has not been released yet, which means my install of Eclipse does not support lambdas. Now, if I was compiling this from the command line, I could get around it, but unfortunately, because I'm using Eclipse, I can't. So, hopefully by the time you're watching this video, this isn't a problem, and you won't get any errors because of this kind of syntax, because lambdas will be fully supported in your installation of Java and of Eclipse. However, I am not so lucky, so please bear with me as we delete this, and instead what I'm going to do is use the anonymous inner class version of setting event listeners. Alright, so what we're going to do is just hit Control Space here. And you can see it takes an event handler which uses the mouse event type, the mouse event class. So new event handler mouse event. Alright, now you'll see here we have an error, and the reason for this error is we haven't, well, there are a few errors. Event handler hasn't been resolved. Now it has. I'm running out of screen real estate, which is not very... Okay. Now we have mouse events. And we need to implement a method. So I'm actually pressing quick fix in here in Eclipse. You can't see this because I'm out of room, but what we want to do is get Eclipse to add the unimplemented methods for us. Okay, so now we've got our handle mouse event. So what we're going to do after all of that is set the position of the text to the position of our mouse. And the way we're going to do this is get our text object and call set x, and the mouse event class, or the mouse event object which is passed into our method, contains a few methods for getting information about the mouse. So what we want is event dot, and you can see here we've got a bunch of different methods to choose from. One is getX, one is getY. Now these getX and getY are relative to the window. That's very important. If you want your mouse coordinate relative to the screen, the actual whole resolution of your screen, you need to use screen X and screen Y. However, what we want is the window coordinate anyway. So we're going to use getX. Okay, this is another error caused by the fact that we can't use lambdas in Eclipse just yet. So what I'm going to do, just to get around this for now, is set this final keyword here, and now our error goes away. So what we're going to do is also set our Y to the Y value of the mouse. And now we can run our program again. So I hit run, and you can see here that as I drag, so right now I'm pressing mouse down, and as I do that, programming is fun follows the mouse cursor around. When I release the mouse, you can see it stops. And so with that, that's it for this video. So what we did in this video was we learnt a little bit about mouse events. And so mouse events are a way of getting our programs to listen to what the mouse is doing, or more precisely, what the user is doing with the mouse. We were actually listening for mouse events when the mouse was dragged, but if I were to go call set on mouse, you can see that there are a whole bunch of different mouse related events that we could be listening to. In this case, we used mouse dragged. Now again, I want to remind you that unfortunately, simply due to today's date means that I couldn't use the lambda syntax that we started out with at the start of this video, as just Eclipse does not support that yet. But trust me, by the time you're watching this video, it won't be an issue, and you could have just gone ahead with the lambda syntax. The method body, by the way, stays the same. This bit's the same. It's just by using a lambda, we don't have to have this anonymous inner class. It just makes all this event signature. It just makes things a bit more concise and easier to read when we use lambdas. But like I said, it won't be a problem by the time you're watching this video, but I apologize for the confusion. But anyway, awesome. We've looked at how we can use mouse events. So with that, that's it for this video. Thanks a lot.